Hello and welcome to the Money Queen podcast. I am Alex Nicolaitis, the Money Queen. I'm here to unite the masculine and feminine energetics of money and invite you in joining me to break the stigma of we don't talk about money here. I will deliver the loving bitch slaps that you need in your business to elevate you as a leader and support you to that next level and welcoming in the wealthiest version of yourself. With over 13 years in the accounting and bookkeeping industry, I utilize the support of the masculine in systems, structure, support, and ATO compliance, combined with the feminine of the energetics of mentoring, guiding, getting really curious. So hit that subscribe button, leave me a rating, and I cannot wait to have you by my side as we raise the feminine collective and create true generational wealth and change. Welcome to episode 7 of the Money Queen podcast. Today we are talking 5 tangible wealth practices that you can implement in your world right now, hence tangible. The first one, we're jumping straight on in, is invest small and regular amounts. What this is utilizing is the compound effect, which is essentially what we are doing with our superannuation funds. We contribute small amounts on a regular basis, and then when we are at an age of retirement, it has sat in our superannuation fund. It has compounded over time and with interest, right, to amass a certain amount. If we weren't to contribute to our superannuation fund over our lifetime, you wouldn't have anything there, right? What it allows you to do is to contribute an amount of money that you potentially wouldn't affect your current world, your current reality, knowing that that's for your future self. So what I do in my world is invest in a managed fund. And I do it on a regular basis. Every month I invest into it. So that to me is I am committing to allowing the compound effect to make my world more abundant in my financial space, to increase my wealth portfolio. For me, in my current circumstances, I don't miss $50 a week, right? For you, it may be $5. And I really want you to fucking hear this. If it's $5 a week for you, that is okay. That is fucking great. Do that. For someone listening, and maybe $500 a week. Great. If that's your current reality, do that. The message that I want to get across in this point in investing small and regular amounts and utilizing the compound effect is just fucking get started. Just get started and be consistent. Be regular with that. Commit to this, because if you invest $100 today and then forget about it for another couple of months and be like, oh, cool, oh shit, 6 months has passed, I'll put an extra $100 in there. That will utilize the compound effect. But if you were more consistent about that and had it on an auto transfer, for instance, that would make a huge impact. It's a kind of like a set and forget. How can you allow automation to make your life easier, to increase your wealth in your world, to lean into the wealthiest version of yourself, to provide for your financial future? Because depending on how old you are listening, there's probably not going to be any government pensions available to us. So are you thinking about your life as a whole, holistic life scale, however you language that? However, a proviso on that. Are you looking at your whole lifespan and creating wealth for that without constricting your life to a point now that you're like, oh, I can't have that because I'm saving for retirement, when your retirement is like 50 fucking years away? That's actually a constrictive point of view. And that's pretty much how I lived the last decade of my life, or a decade of my life 2 years ago, right? I was making choices. I was sacrificing to the nth degree because I'm like, no, I'm providing for my future. I'm providing financial stability for my family. I didn't even have a family, right? I do have a family before I was born into, but when I contextually say family in this episode, I mean the family, like my partner, my kids. I didn't have that. I didn't have a partner, and I didn't have a partner at the time. But I was making sacrifices. I was making choices. Um, I was literally doing everything for them, and they didn't even exist yet. They still don't exist. My partner is out in the world, but I just haven't met them yet. Right? I was holding off in enjoying my world for something that's in the future. And I was not enjoying the now. Thankfully, I got to a point where I was like, what are you doing? I checked myself before I wrecked myself. And I was like, actually, there is so much sacrifice happening here. There is so much living in the future and not actually appreciating what's in the now. So I chose a different choice. I made a different choice. And now I have a different outcome. I'm doing both because you can have both. Shock horror, right? You can have both. By investing small and regular amounts in my future that I don't miss in my current world, and then allowing myself to really live my most abundant world now, I'm getting the best of both worlds. So what does that number look like to you? As I said, if it's $5, great, do that. It's still leaning into the wealthiest version of yourself. It's still providing for your financial security for your future. And a lot of people in this space, in the money world, would be like, cut out your coffee every single day so you can save $20 a week. I say yes to this, but also with a proviso. If you love coffee, not if you're addicted to it, if you love the taste of coffee, if you really enjoy coffee, buy the fucking coffee, queen. Buy the fucking coffee. If you're addicted to it, though, that's a separate conversation, right? Can you lean into detaching from that? Do you actually need that? In some people's cases, yeah, because you're a mum and you've got all the things happening, right? Great. That's your truth. As long as you question yourself and get to what your truth is on this, that's what's most important. That's what I want to land for you, right? And where I invite you into, instead of looking at all the ways that you can cut costs, yes, that's an element to it. And there's also another option. Where can you actually generate more revenue? I've been looking into recently with one of my besties all the different ways that I can create more passive income in my world. And an idea came to us recently, or a reel actually on Instagram of all places, where it's like you can create your own journal on Canva, get it drop shipped, and you get commissions from that. Canva or whoever hosts that does get a slice of that, but you still get an element of every single sale. So I'm like, great. I can create a money queen journal that gets to be sold and distributed, and I literally don't need to do anything except for creating it, putting the intentionality behind it, creating that product one time, and then allowing the universe or the world, like an Etsy or whoever sells it, to do its thing. And that's generating extra revenue in my world. I get to do that. That's an opportunity, right? And there's a few other people on Instagram, probably a lot more than I'm aware of, that literally their sole purpose of their Instagram account is to invite you to increase your awareness of all other opportunities like this that are quite simple and easy to do, that will bring additional revenue into your world so that it can fund things like this. So it's not a case of how can I get more restrictive in my world? It's a case of how can I review what's my current reality? Is it in alignment with the values that I have in my world right now? Is it in alignment with the life that I desire to have, that I'm stepping forward into, that I'm claiming, that I'm moving into? And if that's a no, cool, cut it out. And also, how can I be more expansive in what I'm bringing into my world? How can I be open to opportunities like this to actually bring more revenue into my world? There's options. There are options. And again, I'm probably going to say it a couple of times in this episode. Whatever is your truth, and if you're, when you get clear on that, That's what matters. That is what matters. What's easy to me may seem like a complete and utter mission to you and be like, that is way too fucking hard. And the counter may be true as well. What something is completely easy to you and you're like, oh, that's effortless. I know how to do that. I can do that with my eyes shut. I may look at that and be like, holy shit, that is so difficult. I've got one of my friends actually who lives in Melbourne. She loves the arts and crafts things and she makes those little toys and she sells them on Etsy. And I'm like, to her, that's super easy. She literally does that while she's watching TV on the weekend to bring in additional revenue. But for me, to create these little things that she creates, I'm like, wow, that is so difficult. That's a completely new skill set. That's technology that I don't have in learning how to do that thing. And that's time that my downtime when I'm on the weekend and I'm like, cool, I want to switch off right now. I don't want to be doing that. That's not my truth. That's not in alignment with what I have in my world right now and what I want to create. When I've got downtime on the weekend, I want to be listening to acoustic music in my apartment. I want to be reading a book. I want to be watching a documentary and getting curious about, who can inspire me? What ideas can I bring into my world? That's what I want to do in my downtime. And also play basketball and go to the gym and adventure out in this beautiful city that I live in. I live in Brisbane, if you didn't know, and if you're around, totally open to having a coffee with you. Slide into my DMs, please, and we can organise that. But that's my truth. It is different from me to her because something that is easy to her is difficult to me. Something that is easy to me can be difficult to her. What is your truth? The second thing is weekly money dates. Now, I spoke about this in episode, what was it, 3, 4, I think it was episode 5. It's called Your Money Dates. So have a listen to that episode. Bring that into your world. It takes me about 10 minutes to do every week, first thing of a Monday, because I'm leaning into calling forward the wealthiest version of myself. What does she do? She has a conversation with money every Monday. She leans into building that healthy relationship with money. She cleans up her zero file every Monday. She puts affirmations out there every Monday. And then she backs that up with action during the week so that I manifest actioning the reality that I desire. Again, if you want more on that, listen to that episode. If you are listening to this episode and are picking up what I'm putting down and are ready to unpack and elevate your money story, then pop over to my website and see the money coaching package that is calling your name. Find out for yourself why I have been called the money queen that everyone needs in their life. After working with me, my clients are reclaiming their power in their business, and this has seen them bring hundreds of thousands of dollars into their businesses after having me on board their team. Are you ready to expand? Then let's fucking go, queen. Book in a call with me on my website, which is alexunscripted.com, to show the universe that you are here for everything that you fucking desire and you are taking action. The third thing, right, is an abundance tracker. Now, what I mean by abundance tracker is not just money, because what I speak into in this podcast and in the work that I do is wealth and abundance. And I should have said this earlier, and I get to say this now. When I say the word wealth, right, it means money. It means relationship. It means love. It means health. It doesn't just mean money. So wealth upgrades, wealth practices, it's how can you lean into and become aware of the abundance that's in your world, in the friendships that you have. One of my beautiful friends came over to my apartment for the first time this afternoon, and we had such a beautiful connection and deep conversation, right? And when she left, I was like, God, my world, my friendship is so abundant right now. It is so abundant because of the depth of connection that I get to have with my friends. When I moved to Brisbane, I was so intentional about the environment that I wanted to surround myself in. And a huge part of that is friendships. An incredibly huge part of that is friendships, right? And by having her in my apartment, having her in my world, my apartment is a really sacred space to me. So even allowing her to come in here, I was like, yes, I'm saying yes to support. I'm saying yes to an abundant, tribe of friends around me. And that gets to be my reality. So it's when I say wealth upgrades, it's money, it's health, it's wealth, it's friendships, it's love. So how can you track? And it's simple. You can just create a note in your Apple phone, or you can chuck a piece of A4, piece of paper in your bedroom wall and write down there what came into my world today that was something that I wasn't expecting. That's actually an abundant place and an abundant feeling in my world, right? Who gifted you something? If you're at work and everyone's going for coffees and someone shouted you a coffee, put that on your abundance tracker, because that created more wealth abundance in your world, more tangible money in your world, because you didn't need to invest $5 in that coffee. Someone gifted that to you. So that is a money abundance. If you're in a loving relationship with someone, a love relationship, and they literally just turned around to you on the lounge and said, gave you a hug and loved you, gave you a hug and said, I love you. That's a beautiful, abundant thing to add to your abundance tracker. There is an abundance of love in this relationship. There is an abundance of love in my world. When you connect with your friends, what feeling do you have when you leave them? If that again is with an abundance of love and you have a deep connection with them and you're like, yes, I love having them in my world, that is an abundant friendship, right? Track all of the abundance that is in your world. That is not just money. And you get to appreciate how abundantly wealthy you actually are. Because what we appreciate appreciates. And everything touches everything. So when you start to bring awareness, bring attention, bring that appreciation to where you are abundant in your world, not just in your money world, that actually will start to affect your money world, because everything touches everything, right? When you are in business and, doing this podcast, for instance, it's the byproduct of that is going to be additional clients. A byproduct of additional clients is additional revenue, right? That's the outcome. That's a byproduct. Right now, my focus, my abundance right now is spreading my message, spreading my voice, spreading my expertise. That's my focus. That's my appreciation. I'm so fucking excited and grateful that I'm actually able to be on this platform. I'm so fucking grateful that this platform even exists for me to be able to reach you right now. Especially if you're a new human in my world. Welcome. Welcome, Queen. Right? There is an abundance in your world already, but are you appreciating it? Because if you don't appreciate what you have now, I guarantee when more comes into your world, it's not going to feel that love. It's not going to feel that appreciation. And it's going to be extremely difficult to appreciate that, right? To get more of that. Because if what's here is not valued, why would the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, Allah, Krishna, whoever you believe in, why would they gift you more? The next topic, piece, number, is end of month process, right? 5 tangible wealth practices. So I'm going to do an extra whole podcast on this because it deserves it. And it's a beautiful process that really has elevated the financial literacy of pretty much every single client of mine. So as one element of the end of month process is to set aside money for your GST and income tax provisions. Now, what I teach my clients with this is once your accounts are fully up to date, so all of your revenue has been recognized, all of your expenses have been recognized and reconciled, your file is ready to have that financial review on it, then you have a look at what your net profit is. And if you're a company, it's currently 25%. If you're a sole trader, having a look at what income tax bracket you are going to be in for the year. It has to be just an estimate. And let's just stick with the company side of things. So if you have a net profit of $10,000 for the month, your income tax on that will be $2,500 because it's 25%. So you would literally transfer $2,500 from your trading account into because you're going to have two bank accounts created, one for your trading account where all your money comes in and out, and a second account for your income tax and your GST on your savings, right? So at end of month, $10,000 profit, $2,500 of that is being transferred out of your trading account and into your GST and tax account, so that the money that's left over in your trading account is actually your money to spend. Because income tax is not yours. GST is not yours. You are literally a carrier for the ATO. So the quicker we can build that relationship with the GST and the income tax money that's come into your world, that's not yours. You're a temporary carrier for that. And it gets to be separated and put into a separate account. So the money that's left in your trading account is actually yours to spend. Once you're in that habit, once you're in that ritual, that's increasing your financial literacy. That is becoming a smart business owner, right? That leads into living more abundantly because you know the money that's in your trading account, it's safe to spend. You're not going to get a tax bill tomorrow and be like, shit, I've got no money to pay for this. Fear, scarcity, worry, stress, anger, frustration, confusion all come into your world when that happens. If you utilize this wealth practice and put aside money for your GST and income tax every month into that account, there's safety there. There's flexibility there. There's freedom there because you know where your money is sitting and why it's sitting there. And you know what you get to play with. And for the GST, for creating that, go into your Xero file, pull up the activity statement report, make sure your dates are correct, and whatever that tells you, the GST on sales less the GST on purchases, that's the amount of money that you need to put aside for your BAS for that month. Put that money into the GST and tax account so that, again, the money left in your trading account is yours to spend. And when a bill comes in from the ATO, you're not going to sit in that shit, I've got no money vibration, which is backed by fear and scarcity. We want to always stay in the paradigm of love and abundance. There's always more in the world. There's always more clients. There's always more money. There's always more opportunity. And the final tip for you for today's episode is donating at your weekly grocery shop. Now, I don't know about you, I shop at Woolworths, and they have this option that comes up, and it's, do you want to round up your shop to the nearest dollar and donate to whoever the charity is for the month? I always say yes, because the wealthiest version of me donates to the people who are less fortunate than myself. How can I create that in my world? I can say yes when Woolworths asks me to literally round up my shop. I actually don't see that. I don't notice that, right? I don't notice the $1 a week because I do one shop once a week. I don't notice it. And to even strengthen this and to bring even more appreciation into this practice is I always look at the savings amount that I've saved on my shop, because 9 times out of 10, something that I've bought has been on special. So I'm like, I look at my savings account and I'm like, cool, I've saved $3.15 on this shop from buying things that I was going to buy in any case, but Woolworths has just been like, oh, this is on special for the week. Great. So I've saved $3.15 and my shop has been rounded up to the next dollar. So let's just say that's 15 cents. It's been rounded up by 15 cents so that I pay $34 evenly for my shop. And then I've still saved $3. So I'm still ahead. That's leaning into the wealthiest version of myself. That is a tangible wealth practice that you can bring into your world. Right? What we focus on expands. I focus on living in that abundant paradigm. That abundant paradigm to me generates donate generously to charities. What does that look like right now? It looks like pressing the yes button to round up my shop. It's going to look different next year, and it'll probably look different the year after that. But for right now, that's still embodying the wealthiest version of myself. That's still calling forward the next version of myself. That's creating the habit of saying yes to donating, because that is an element that I want in my world. It is in my world. It's not that I want, it's already in it because I'm saying yes to it. So how can you get curious about what are the things that you want to bring into your world, and how can you create micro moments of that in your current reality so that you can start leaning into those practices? That's how I came up with most of these, right? What do I want in my 5, 10, 15-year life? And how can I scale that back to bringing that into my reality now on a scaled down version, so that at least I'm leaning into it, so that I'm starting that practice, so that when I say yes to donating, I'm like, does anything come up in my body right now? I can notice that. I can start to have a relationship with that. I can start to shift that, so that when I start donating hundreds of thousands of dollars, I get to know what that feels like, because I'm working on that now. And that will be my reality at some stage. It's not now, but it will be. And I'm getting used to that now. So that is 5 tangible wealth practices that you can implement in your world today to create a different relationship with money, to lean into the wealthiest version of yourself, to get curious about what is her way of living. What does the wealthiest version of me look like, and how can I bring elements of that into my now reality? If you are curious about this and would like some support, slide into my DMs, Queen, and let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. Because it literally all starts with you saying yes to your yes. And what does that look like in this situation? It's saying hello to me. Thank you, Queen, for saying yes to your yes in listening to this episode and being a part of raising the feminine collective one conversation at a time. Remember to share this episode with your business besties and join me in breaking the tabooness around having money conversations. As always, if you have enjoyed this episode, please rate, subscribe, and share this on your social media, remembering to tag me in it to help this conversation go further, which creates a bigger ripple effect.